Hi, in this video we will learn about the two fashions in which a sentence can be written: active voice and passive voice. If you have done a little bit of grammar in your childhood, must have got few exercises on converting active voice sentences to passive voice sentences. However, let's discuss and see what is the subtle difference between active voice and passive voice, and why passive voice is not recommended. In the active voice, the subject and the verb relation is straightforward. The subject is a doer and the verb moves along the sentence. But what happens in passive voice is that the subject is not the doer, but is acted upon by some other agent or by something unnamed. For instance, the fee reduction was approved. Let's analyze active and passive voice in these examples. Active voice: Tom kicks the ball. When we write it in passive voice, the ball is kicked by Tom. The Tom kicked the ball was kicked by Tom. Tom will kick the ball will be kicked by Tom. Hope you can see the difference between active and passive voice. Where Tom is coming in the beginning of the sentence, in active voice, it is being replaced by Tom in the passive format. In active form, we can see that Amar is helping Rani, and in passive voice, Rani is being helped by Amar. So basically, it's catching your nose from behind your head. So why to use passive voice? Sometimes when you are using software for writing, you will often get a notification that this construction is in passive voice, and the software will suggest you to make it and change it to active voice. Why is so? This for the same reason, because it becomes a little difficult to understand, and why to twist a sentence and write it in a different format where you can just write it straightforward. What are the passive form indicators? Passive form is indicated by the to be form of the verb. Hope you know the to be form of the verb is, was, am, were, and past participle. If you do not know past participle, you can go through the video on gerunds and participle. Hence, in general usage, the active voice is usually more direct and vigorous than passive, and it is more recommended. So, is the usage of passive voice wrong? No, it is not always wrong. We will see in what cases it is correct. Let's do a small exercise, and after doing that exercise, I'll let you know when can we use passive voice. Tom was killed in an accident. Here, was is the to be form, killed is the past participle, hence it falls into the category of passive voice. In the next sentence, Rita was standing by the window. Was is again to be form, but standing is present participle. In the earlier case, it is past participle. So if we have to be form with present participle, it is not a passive voice, it is an active voice. Ram killed Ravan. Simple and straightforward, active voice. They have eaten their lunch. I'll leave this one for you. Let's see what you come up with the answer. Is it an active voice or a passive voice? It is very easy. Let's move on to the next one. I shall always remember my first visit to Boston. Sentence next to it: my first visit to Boston will always be remembered by me. So which one do you think is very straightforward and easy to understand? In my opinion, it is the first one, and hence you can also see why active voice is preferred. In the second sentence, you can see it is the be form and remembered and followed by me. So this is the passive voice, and the first one is the active voice. Clearly the first sentence is more direct, bold and concise, and thus is much preferable than the second one. But it is not always wrong. Passive voice is not always wrong. There are a few instances where you'll realize and you'll see that passive voice is necessary and cannot be avoided. So when should the passive voice form be used? We'll just analyze. Let's see. You have two sentences here. Tom killed Lucy and was arrested for her murder. Tom killed Lucy and arrested for her murder. What it wants to convey is that Tom killed Lucy, and for that act he was arrested. But in the second sentence, if you see, it means that the second sentence means that Tom killed Lucy and arrested somebody XYZ for the murder. The interpretation is wrong here. So in this case, passive voice will be correct. Tom killed Lucy and was arrested for her murder, because he is not arresting somebody, he is getting arrested. So let's see what's written here as definition. If a grammatical construction has two predicates and the first predicate expresses an action by the subject and the second predicate expresses an action that is done on the subject, then the passive construction is used in the second predicate. So that's what I have just illustrated you in this example. Hope you have understood when do we need to use passive voice and when it is expected to be correct. Hope I have been able to make some difference in your understanding of active voice and passive voice. Do watch the other videos. Thanks a lot.